Melvin. Thank you for the warm welcome. It's been exciting that I've gotten the opportunity to be a part of this wonderful show in its 4th year. Can you believe it? It's already 4 years. Who's been here every year since that first time? All right? You're going to buy me dinner. So I'm very stoked and excited this morning to talk to you about this idea of the social revolution. For those that I haven't met, my name is Gus Raymond Tsai, and yes, Gus is my real name. As you can imagine, I had a hard time growing that name. Got my guts around it. Get that out of the way. And then before I jump into sharing what these 5 steps are and how you can transform your organization, I want to paint the picture of what's going on in our world today, so that we'll understand why this revolution is important, but more importantly, why we should be a part of it and also be spearheading this revolution. You guys have Blockbuster here, right? In case you don't know, Blockbuster in Australia is a separate entity, which is good, from the Blockbuster in the United States. You see, Blockbuster Video in 1999 went public in the United States with a valuation of $4.8 billion. A lot of money. And friends, around the same time, there's this guy, his name is Reed Hastings. He got tired of going to the store, renting DVDs, paying late fees. He said, we can do better. He said, I'm going to start a service where people watch movies on the web. I'm going to call it Netflix. It was 1999. And then in 2004, at the height of Blockbuster Video, they had 9,000 stores in the US, 60,000 employees, and it's like they're indestructible. In fact, in 2007, the CEO of Blockbuster decided that this whole web streaming is not going to go anywhere. So we're going to reduce our investment on online streaming, and we're going to open more stores. What a concept. And then what happened? In 2010, Blockbuster Video as a business filed for bankruptcy. In 2011, it was bought by Dish Network in the United States, at least for the brand and the customer assets. And as of 2 weeks ago, Blockbuster Video is gone in the United States. Friends, what just happened here? I mean, if you haven't noticed, shit happens. Right? And some of you may be thinking, Gus, you're just talking about all these tech companies. I mean, they come and go. I mean, look at AOL, look at Netscape. But friends, this shift has been moving and shaking our world in the last 100 years. Companies like Bethlehem Steel, who built America, major steel company in the early 1900s, is no more today. And I'm sure I can go on and on and on with these big giants that are not around anymore. You know, 50% of Fortune 500 companies in 1995 are not around anymore. And if you wonder why, you see, companies were not built for change. And I'm sure you can think about your company as well. You see, companies today still revolve around the model that was set up back in the Industrial Revolution. During the Industrial Revolution, the idea is we got to put processes, we got to put systems, we got to have structure and hierarchies for the greater good of efficiency, mass production, so we can streamline and we can go fast to market with our products and services. Y'all agree? Don't get me wrong, it's a good thing. But as a consequence, friends, the model set up by the Industrial Revolution is not adaptable. It's hard for people and organizations to change. You see, the Industrial Revolution model was designed around routine. How we can replicate things, which is good, but technology has caught up today that things that are routinary are automated. What we fight with, friends, are things that we do non-routinary that requires people. You don't believe me? This shift that's happening are things that we suffer from day in, day out. Today, people organizations are overwhelmed. 61% of people, they just spend time coordinating collaboration. Hey, when can we do meetings? Oh, this proposal came in, but there's something missing in the first section. Can you work with this? Ducks, our customer. Something just broke. Now I gotta fix it. I gotta figure out what the penalties are. We spend our time doing this. And that's not part of our job. Another challenge people face today is we can't find what we're looking for. Don't you love it when you run a search in your SharePoint environment? Where's that new proposal? Boom, 60,000 results. This study was done by IDC, and they found that 38% of time is lost duplicating work and looking for stuff. I'm sure some of you may even say, Ducks, we spend more time doing that. How much does that cost? 38% of a day, let's say 40%, that's about 2-3 hours, forgive my math. How much does that cost? Maybe for an intern, that's $10, $15. But for a high-powered consultant sitting in your office, because they can't find stuff, that may be $200, $300, or $500. You guys hear the story about Bill Gates going to Starbucks? You hear about this? No? Okay, so Bill Gates was in Starbucks, he's buying his regular coffee, the guy pays him cash, and he reached out his wallet, $100 bill, he accidentally dropped it. Grabbed the other $100, paid for his coffee, and walked away. The guy behind him saw that Bill Gates saw that the money was dropped, so he picked the money, ran after Bill Gates, and Mr. Gates, you dropped this money, and I know you saw it, you're kind of obnoxious for not picking it up. Bill Gates said, well, sorry, because if I do that, that's going to be 5 seconds of my time, which costs $800. Now, that's urban legend. It's not true. But the point is, we don't think about these things. What's the time value of money? I mean, 2 hours wasted by an intern may be no big deal, but collectively, because the revolution that built our companies are designed for change. But the good news is, there's hope. The good news is, we live in this new revolution that allows us to be more agile, that allows us to be more responsive. But the question you should ask yourself, friends, is, are we ready for this? Now, regardless if we're ready or not, it's here. You see, there's these 4 telltale signs of the next revolution. And I call this the social revolution. First and foremost, it's in our organizations today, you like it or not, we live in the bring your own device world. Who works for IT? You know, okay? When iPad first came out, who wanted their iPad to be connected to the VPN first? Who are those people? Management, right? And if marketing is running some campaign and they need some software to work with the vendors and IT can't produce it, what would marketing do? I'm going to go to Dropbox. Let's sign on box.net. BYOB? Can't stop it. We also live in a world where things are happening so fast. The speed of business is like never before. Mergers, acquisitions, bankruptcies. We also live in a world where we have to do more with less. IT resources are less. We still have to deliver the same set of services and value to the business. But the biggest part of this revolution, friends, is how communication and engagement is evolving. Let me prove it to you. How many of you got maybe around 100 emails last week? Raise your hand. Okay? Keep your hands up. For those that are hands that are up, how many of you got a handwritten letter last week? Richard? Good. But if that question was 30 years ago, there'll be more hands. In fact, how we engage and communicate today is very different, and it's fastly changing. Now, here's the twist. Of those 100 emails, how many of those emails are work-related versus personal-related emails? In our personal lives, do we really use email? Like, how do you keep up with friends and family in your social group? Do you use email? Maybe a couple. Today, we rely on consumer social technologies to keep up with friends and family. In fact, you guys know the royal baby, right? How and when did you hear about the birth of the royal baby? Was it through your local news? Not even through your news website. I guarantee you heard it through some friends on Facebook or maybe some tweet. Agree? It's changing. And then on a more somber note, you all know that devastating weather that hit the country of the Philippines where I'm originally from. And some of you were looking at me weird earlier. I'm actually wearing a traditional Filipino formal outfit made from pineapple silk. Something was nasty and delicious. I don't know. In honor of the Philippines. But social media was a very empowering tool. When the typhoon hit, formal communications were down. All the information about how the damage was came through social, Facebook, Twitter. As a result, communities in other islands, the country of the Philippines has 7,000 islands, started to form groups to deliver relief, organize fundraisers, all through social. Email can't do that. I want to share my personal experience. Thank God my friends and family, everybody's okay, but I know people who've lost loved ones. 2 days right after this terrible tragedy hit, I knew I had to do something in a small way. I wrote a blog post. I said, look, help Typhoon Haiyan victims, donate anything to your favorite charity, and just show me a proof of donation. If you donate $99, that's equivalent to 1 free consulting hour from a SharePoint expert of your choice. I reached out to some friends around the world. Hey, would you guys want to be a part of this? And in a span of 4 weeks, I have 80 SharePoint MVPs and experts around the world volunteered their time to be a part of this. And in 2 days, we've raised thousands. Company matched it. 1 hour, free consulting. 2 hours, 2 free hours. $200, 2 free hours. Very powerful stuff. And I encourage you, friends, if you feel compelled, I urge you to participate in this. And if you already donated, just show the proof of your donation. I just posted on the Yammer Network and tweeted the link on how you can participate in this endeavor. That's the power of social. You see, social is so powerful not because of tools, it's because how we behave as humans. We as human beings, we love to engage and connect. We love to be part of communities. Social tools accelerate, enables us to do it. It's a good thing. Now, the line is drawn, though, when we talk about work. I was advising a CIO a few weeks ago in DC, and we were talking about social strategy, enterprise social strategy. He's like, we don't want no social in my company. I don't want no pictures of cats in the internet. Right? I don't get that. How we connect and engage in our companies today is still freaking email. A 1973 technology that wasn't even built to do what we use it for today. Why is that? You see, technology is not a competitive advantage anymore. I mean, we talk about SharePoint, it's a 12-year-old product. The concept of social technologies is not new. But how come it's still not working? Here's something I want you to ponder on, friends. Some of you may be thinking, well, Dux, that's just not for us. We're too old school, We're an old company. We don't really need this stuff. It's not about you. As consumers, our behavior are changing because of the speed of information. I mean, think about it. When you go to the store shopping today, do you actually buy it right away? Maybe you pull up your phone, look up a review. Is this a good deal? Maybe not. Or maybe as a result of looking at that review, you don't buy it at the store. You buy it on your phone. Y'all with me? Customer expectations are changing. The way they think about vendors, suppliers, partners they work with are changing, but we as organizations, we don't get that. Employee mindsets are changing. What we don't want to happen is exactly what Jack Wells says, is the rate of change externally exceeds the rate of change internally. Be careful, the end is near. And that's what I see in a lot of large organizations. Oh, social, that's just a fad. That's for the young kids. We seasoned veterans, we don't need no social. email, and Excel. That's my cup of tea. Right? That's fine. Shift happened. Want me to next Blockbuster? Now, in spite of the doom and gloom, it's actually a good thing. It's good news for us all because we're all on the same page. We should use change as that competitive advantage. And change is not technology alone. When we talk about enterprise social, when we talk about taking the benefits of social tools we know in our personal lives to our work environment, there's a lot of value. This is the best definition I've found around enterprise social. So what I'd like you to do is read it with me. I'm going to count 1, 2, 3, so read it with me. 1, 2, 3, loud. Enterprise social is an important method for enhancing communication, coordination, and collaboration for. Did it say anything about newsfeeds or liking or tagging? No. 6 months ago, I was working with an IT team doing an upgrade to 2013. They're going to roll it out to 50,000 of their employees worldwide, and they're seeking advice. Now, Gus, what do you think? We're going to upgrade to 2013. We're going to use all the new features, social. We're going to put wikis. I go, whoa, why? Just like you, they were quiet, which makes me very insecure as an immigrant to the States that I cannot speak English. I asked him another question. I said, "Por qué?" What's up with the newsfeed, the wikis? Why? Isn't that the big thing? I mean, we just signed this enterprise agreement from Microsoft, so we should put this in. It's a big bad. Why? What does having a newsfeed do to Miss Sally in accounting who's processing expense reimbursements every month? Tell me, can you connect the dots for me? If you can't, don't even bother. How does it enhance communication, coordination, and collaboration for your business? If you cannot answer that fundamental question, don't do anything. Okay, guys, I get it. I see it. I understand it. For business purpose, it's not just sticking social out there for no good reason. But can you give me a picture of what this may look like, possibly, in my company? Sure, watch this.
History has taught us that the whole is greater than the sum of its parts. That working together, we are able to accomplish more than we could ever accomplish on our own. That when great minds come together, anything is possible. So we are reinventing the way people work together. We are making it easier than ever before to share ideas, discover connections, ask questions, find answers. Stay in sync. Organize information. And build the team that takes an idea and makes it a reality. SharePoint, the new way to work together.
What do you guys think? It's cool, right? That's enterprise social. I mean, I gotta tell you, I don't know why these business videos always start with a guy on holiday with his dog. Does that never happen? But think about that scenario. We live in a geographically dispersed workforce where people need to work anytime, anyhow, with anything. This is a stroke of inspiration with this BYOD phone took a picture, posted it on their social platform, in which, by the way, when I say a social platform, it's not just Yammer, right? It's the whole thing. Surfaced up in a SharePoint site, which an engineer was working on something, that's a great idea, and they started drafting designs, and they were using their nifty surface, open up in PowerPoint. Social. Social brings a lot of value around engagement. I mean, what if that guy, when he got that stroke of inspiration while walking with his dog on holiday, said, man, this is cool. I got to go back to my car, find a connection because I have to VPN to come corporate and email my idea. Not going to happen. But just like telling people, don't attach a file on your email, upload it to the document library, copy the link, and then send the email. Not going to happen. The second value of enterprise social is the ability to facilitate better collaboration because I collaborate my way. Doesn't matter if you have a Mac, a phone, Windows, tablet, it's all good. Enterprise social can be the glue to help you work together better. It allows you to be more agile, respond to ideas and decisions. One of the customers we're working with is a large state, and we're putting together a project transparency platform using a lot of these existing Microsoft investments that they already have. And they predict once this platform is up, because now projects above $10 million of the state will be visible in the first 2 months, just because it's real time and they can see they can make decisions faster, better, sooner. Their targeted saving in the first 2 months is $5 million. $5 million. Another benefit is the idea of connectedness. Never before in the history of time do we have something that allows us not only for back-end technologies, where the IT geeks usually are comfortable with, to extend to the phone, to where the users need the information, to where the business puts the information. That's social. Now, the key here for that shift to happen is not just about technology. You see, we still live in this world. Remember? Very siloed, hierarchical. The shift that we want to happen is from having an effective way of engaging, not only internally, but externally as well, to be more agile, to be more adaptive, to be more connected, for the purpose of facilitating purposeful collaboration, not just collaboration by itself. What does it take to get there? Obviously, technology alone is not enough. Like I said, we've got all these cool technologies already. You know, the stats Greg was talking about earlier, while it's funny, it's not. 80% of global SharePoint deployment is nothing but a big file dump where files go to die. I mean, SharePoint can do a lot of this stuff. How come it's not happening? So, what I want to do in the time that I have left is to share with you 5 specific steps on how you transform your organization to lead in this social revolution. Because I guarantee you, from a tool technology perspective, you guys have this already. And it's more about the change from an organizational level, from a business level, that needs to happen. So first, how do we transform our enterprise to lead in this social revolution? First things first is we have to make sure we secure stakeholder buy-in. I know a lot of you have heard of this stakeholder buy-in, stakeholder engagement. I'm not just talking about them writing the check. No offense, but a lot of stakeholders out there, when they wrote the check to put SharePoint, to buy Yammer, to buy all these social tools, has no freaking clue what they're signing for. I can say that because I don't live here. I live Lead Friday, so you'll come after me. But that's true, even with my customers I work with in this thing. The buy-in I'm talking about is really for them to understand the business impact and the value investments like this deliver. This is a startling study done by Gartner. They said 80% of social business efforts will not achieve the benefits due to inadequate leadership and an overemphasis on technology. Friends, we want social to deliver the promise of business value. Guess what? When we engage with stakeholders, we don't talk about social. What's the first rule in the Fight Club? No, don't talk about the Fight Club. You flip the conversation from an IT-centric approach, oh, we got the new SharePoint 2013, to what are we doing in our business? How can we make more money or save more money? How can we expedite and be more agile to innovate? How can we facilitate better or purposeful collaboration? Here's a great story. So in the States, there's an insurance company called Nationwide Insurance. And they have all these technology investments. And one day, there's a customer. He was driving his recreational vehicle with his family, and his car broke down. So this gentleman, he bought his insurance policy not directly from Nationwide, he bought it from a local agent. And I think it's similar here. You can buy insurance from a local agent. So he calls his agent up and he said, hey mate, RV broke down, I think we're covered, so can I get my benefits? Can you send a tow truck, all that good stuff? The agent said you're not covered in this situation because it was struck by lightning. You don't have the lightning clause. Okay? He said no, so he put the phone down and he called up Nationwide. He called up Nationwide, the customer service picked up. Remember that whole picture I showed earlier, hierarchical versus network? The customer service agent picked up and said, one moment, sir. So, first thing he would do is look up his traditional systems. Customer CRM, whatever. Nothing came up. In his little silo, he cannot find information about this customer and his policy, etc. But that didn't stop him, because part of their culture, customers come first. So he jumped on their social network feed, they're using Yammer, and part of their organizational model is anytime a customer emergency comes up, they're going to post a message and use the hashtag emergency. I think that's what the hashtag is. You guys know the hashtag emergency? By the way, this is a symbol as stated by Jimmy Fallon and Justin Trudeau. Emergency, customer struck by lightning, we can't find information about him, blah, blah. That alerted a lot of other people in the company, not just customer service people. Long story short, somebody was able to pull up the information, pull up the policy, and yes, he was covered. 30 minutes later, after that call, tow truck came. An hour later, a car came to pick them up to the nearest hotel with $200 spending. That's part of it. But it doesn't stop there. We talk about business value. If I were that guy, I would go around and tell my friends and family, boy, this is the best insurance company, I'm not going to change. He did a great job. Y'all with me? You see, when we talk about business value, business matters, social doesn't matter. We have to flip the conversation with the decision maker. And if you're thinking, well, Dust, that's a great story, good stuff, but that's like a big picture thing. I mean, how can I pitch or sell that to my management? Because that assumes we're going to implement this whole thing, right, to see the benefits. Well, watch this.
In the Great Recession, many best-in-class competitors made decisions around efficiency and effectiveness that helped them preserve their margins. Well, Red Robin hadn't done any of that. And from my experience, I realized that there were a lot of efficiencies to be had if we only unleashed the power of our team members to help us.
Our CFO offered to write a $1,000 check out of his own pocket for the best cost savings idea that we could come up with, but he had two rules around those cost savings. The first is it couldn't negatively impact a guest or a team member. And second is it had to be sustainable. It couldn't be a one-hit wonder.
Well, historically, if you wanted to get ideas from the front line, you went out and you talked to people, and I did that. But with Yammer, you were able to put a challenge out to 25,000 people. At the same time,
And what he did is he got on stage and he launched this at our annual leadership conference, but then engaged this contest on Yammer.
Surveys are one-way communication, whereas when you do this kind of challenge in a forum like Yammer, it becomes multi-directional and people can contribute to that idea.
Having that ability has really made us more of an innovative company, which is really going to move us forward in the industry.
Having them talk about it on a social network really engaged the competition. We ended up settling on a pretty simple winner, which was a reusable kids cup.
So it's better for the environment, it's obviously cost savings for the company, and it's a win-win all the way around.
Yammer was a terrific enhancement to that because it gave people the ability, without getting second-guessed or judged, to put ideas on the table about where we could save money without hurting the guest, without hurting the team member, and without compromising on quality.
I mean, that's very simple, isn't it? One thing he didn't say, though, which actually happened. So they did this quick exercise. So they gave $1,000 to the person who had the best idea. Do you think they only applied that one idea for cost savings? They picked the top 50. Powerful stuff. To transform your organization, you got to get executive buy-in. Not from buying the technology, but buying in that strategically there's value to enterprise social. The second step to transform your organization, to lead in this revolution, is not you have to connect the dots and map it to the business value at a more tactical level. With executives, we talk at a high level, and then we come to the business and understand what's in it for them. Because if you want to roll out enterprise social, the hardest part about all this is not the technology, but it's change. People don't like change. Again, one of those studies is if you roll out any big change initiative, there's 53% decline in worker productivity. So you got to make sure whatever you're trying to do is well worth it. And mapping to business value is critical. What you don't want to do is pitch enterprise social as just some luxury destination. What do you mean, Docs? I see this a lot of companies. Oh, we're going to rebrand our internet, and I think we have to have a news feed. And what's people's perception? Okay, I'm just going to go to the internet to see whose birthday's coming up, or what our policy is. They don't think about enterprise social as a place to get their job done. I mean, today, if I ask you, what 2 tools people rely on to get their job done? 2 tools. The top 2 tools. Email's number 1, very good. What's the other one? Excel. Word's number 3. If you take these tools out of people's hands, they cannot function. It just can't work. Y'all with me? Unfortunately, they don't think of SharePoint that way. People's biggest concern of SharePoint today is, I don't like how it looks. Make it great. Now, you have people coming to you and say, hey, can you change how Outlook looks? I don't like how Outlook looks. Can you change how Excel looks? Make it look more like a map. That's dumb, Docs. People don't perceive those tools that way because those tools get their job done. So the challenge to you, friends, is you got to shift the conversation in the idea that enterprise social is just some fad where you put pictures of cats. It's a place where you get your job done, and it's not one thing. It's not just, oh, Yammer is social. No, it's a way of life. You got to be able to figure out how to map it so that internally, right, your employees can benefit from it, and as a result, your customers get value. Okay, this is cool, but how do we do this, Docs? How do we map business value to social tools? I'll spend more time on this later today when I do a deep dive on building the roadmap. But at a high level, what we want to do is, first of all, align company values to how enterprise social can help. So let me first talk about aligning company values, and then I'll look at these examples. When I talk about aligning company values, this is really extending the idea that I'm Docs, I work in IT, I work in my siloed world, I don't really care for everybody else. That's not alignment. You know, there's a There's a company in the States called Zappos. You guys know what Zappos? Zappos, they sell shoes and all that. And you know what the company motto or goal or vision is? Their company goal or motto is it's like to be the best in customer service, something like that. That's their thing. And a few years ago, there was a bad storm coming to Tennessee, where one of their major warehouses is at, where they ship a lot of their stuff. But part of their mantra and their commitment to customers is rain or shine, snow or bad weather, you will get your shoes the day we promised you or earlier. So the guys in the warehouse, knowing that the bad weather is coming, alerted everybody in that office, hey guys, hands on deck, we need help to pack these shoes so we can get it out before the storm. HR folks, IT folks, accounting folks went down the warehouse, start packing boxes. Wait a minute. I'm in HR. My job is to do performance appraisals and onboarding, not pack no boxes. I'm in IT. I upgrade people to Windows 8.1. I don't pack boxes. That's not alignment. But my point is, you got to get everybody on the same page to be aligned as to what the company is trying to achieve. And once you get that, now you pick specific business value points. For example, docs, you want better engagement. Because engagement's a big bust. There's a lot of employee turnovers. The young generation's coming. How do we engage them better? Right? And then you map it to, okay, so how do we do this in social? How do we improve collaboration? Because today we just use email to collaborate. Again, you review enterprise social investments and capabilities that can deliver. Well, what about innovation, docs? So you can go on and on and on, but the key point here, friends, is again, you don't say, well, let's throw out newsfeed and let's see what we can do with it. No, it's the other way around. The third point, once you map your business values and you find out what's the core business need that can certainly deliver value right away, you initiate a pilot. It's a bad idea to roll out social technologies right away to everyone. Because you want to make sure it actually works, and if it doesn't, it's not going to impact everybody. When you initiate a pilot, the intent is to facilitate purposeful collaboration that will address common pain points, identify quick wins, and when I say identify quick wins, a lot of our mistake in IT is we go after big things. Oh, we want to hook up SharePoint to CRM, SAP, run DMC, something. Right? And if it blows up, SharePoint stuff. What I suggest is you look at day-to-day things your business struggles with that are low risk, simple things. Doing better meetings, doing better project collaboration, better reporting, having salespeople in the field get information faster, sooner, other than emailing Excel files. Look at those small things. And what I also advise is you go after low-hanging fruits because it's less risk and you can deliver higher value right away. Okay, how does this work? Can you show me an example? So watch this little video I recorded demonstrating how enterprise social can help you do better project collaboration. Because traditionally today we still rely on email to collaborate in projects. But what if we can tie in a bunch of other stuff?
Meet my colleague Alex. He and I are working on putting together a presentation for our boss. Thanks to SharePoint 2013, we're able to easily centralize and manage all related artifacts and communications for this project. On a typical day, Alex would start working from home using his Mac. He would check his email from a browser and start work from there. Looks like Alex is reviewing the task for the project, and he has some questions for me about the project. Just by using the browser, he's able to instant message me using technologies like Link. One of the key benefits of SharePoint 2013 is a deep integration with existing tools that we already use, like Microsoft Office, smartphones, and even web-based technologies. So even if I am out and about, I'm still not at the office yet, I can easily respond to Alex on my phone and update my task. The beauty with SharePoint 2013 is that I can continue working with Alex once I get to the office. You just assign me a task on the project site, and look at what happens. It automatically shows up on my task list in Microsoft Outlook. Isn't that cool or what? Additionally, within Outlook, I can email the entire team directly using this neat feature called Site Mailbox. The Site Mailbox is available not only in Outlook, but it's the same Site Mailbox that the team can see and interact with directly on the project site. The Site Mailbox also provides visibility to all the documents I have in the project site. So what do you think? Are you excited? I am. This is the new way to work together with SharePoint 2013.
So let me extend this example. Okay, so let me go back to that project site. So when we talk about initiating a pilot, again, the pilot could be as simple as, let's do a survey on how we can save money for the company. That's cool, that's fine, we can do that. Or a pilot could be to a select group of project managers. Hey folks, we already have this stuff. Let's see how we can kind of change and shift on how we manage projects. So in that scenario, Alex started working from home with his Mac. And I suspect some of your technologies at home is better than technologies at work, right? BYOD. And he started pinging Dux on his Mac, and Dux was going to work, and he was able to interact with Alex from his phone. So think about scenarios like that, but most importantly, you have to use familiar experiences. You got to remember that. One of the biggest no-nos that we've done in the last 12 years around SharePoint is, you got to go to the SharePoint site. You got to go to the browser. Get that. Start with what people are comfortable with. If they're comfortable with Outlook, go for it. You like your Mac, go for it. You like your iPhone, go for it. Now, so this project I'm working on is building presentations for this week. So I've got my tasks, my deadlines, and I even have a project newsfeed, meaning all the folks in this project are part of this newsfeed. Let's pretend that any kind of communication and engagement can be seen in our stream in this newsfeed. By the way, this is the Yammer newsfeed for this conference. So if you haven't jumped in, I encourage you to do so. So let's say I was, I'm preparing all this stuff. I got all my documents. It's all good. And that day came into fruition. I'm here. I'm doing the presentation. And I want to share with my team back at the office on how the presentation is doing. So how can I best do that? Well, let me go ahead and do this. So I'm going to grab my phone and pull up the Yammer app and go to that project newsfeed. And I'm going to take a picture of everything, all right? Better smile, so I'm going to tag you on Facebook as well. All right, so 1, 2, 3. All right, very good. So now, I took a picture, and I'm going to put a little note, awesome audience. All right. There you go. And it's posting. Let's give it a few seconds and make sure it's doing it. Okay. All right. As soon as I do that and it posts that, not only will it show up here, but my colleagues who's following this newsfeed will get visibility into this. Agile, collaborate, connection. But here's the most powerful part. Well, my intent is to share the information to the folks part of this team. The folks in marketing somehow saw this in the newsfeed, and they go, wow, I like how the Eventful group set up the room. That's a great idea. For our next event, we will set up the room like that. That's something email can't do. Y'all with me? What if you live in that way? And delivering a pilot allows you to do that. So it should be here now, all right? Let's refresh here. Okay, so once the newsfeed comes up, voila, you should see everybody's nice photo show up. There you go. There you go, you see that? Power to the people. What do you guys think so far? Helpful? Okay? Now, next step. So we talked about to transform your organization to lead this revolution. The first step is you got to get executive buy-in, understanding the strategic organizational value and so forth. The second step is you map it to business value, and based on those business value propositions, pick one, start a pilot. Once you start a pilot, demonstrate that this thing actually is valuable, it helps people save time, money, facilitates better engagement. Let's roll it out company-wide. Step 4. How do you roll it out company-wide? You alone as IP cannot do it. You have to work with a business, engage key business groups such as corporate communicators and human resources to help you roll this out, to plan the launch, to help sustain this environment through time. There's a lot of great sessions in this conference, and I know Christy's going to talk about this in her session. When they were launching their internet, they did this whole campaign around extreme makeover. Very cool, right? So you've got to be creative to help the business to embrace your investment in social. You've got to establish scalable support. You know, one of the drawbacks, it's not, I don't want to call it drawbacks, but one of the results of enterprise social adoption and growth is the need to help people more, especially initially. They'll have a lot of questions, from basic questions of how-tos to business value questions, and IT alone cannot answer and meet those questions and needs. So your support structure should be scalable. At the very least, you have to have a self-service support structure. It could be as simple as an FAQ site. It could be as simple as, let's say in your SharePoint environment, you put a help tab. And then the second piece of your scalable support is you got to start putting in communities. And you don't know how powerful this is until you start doing it. A lot of organizations today, the support structure is still you fill in a ticket request and then wait for IT to call you back. But what if you can have a mechanism where people can help each other, people can ask questions, and you can certainly incent them as well to helping other people. Let me share an example. So one organization I'm working with, we're putting together a sustainable adoption program. When we did the pilot, we picked 80 people. So we demonstrated the value of enterprise social. We did a workshop. And part of that exercise is everybody had a homework to do. They need to go back and look at what they're doing in their business units now that could be improved by using a lot of these social tools and Microsoft tools that they already have. And by the way, friends, why you want to do this, okay, in the next 4 weeks, it's still competition. We call it SharePoint Idle. It's not only the fact that it's going to help your business, it's going to help you learn, but we're going to pick a winner. We're going to pick who the SharePoint Idle is. So throughout that 4 weeks, we put together I work with their IT team, SharePoint Idle SharePoint site. We put all the relevant resources, how-tos, videos. We had a discussion board where people can ask questions. I was involved, their IT people was involved. And also every week we have office hours. We would do online meetings and they ask questions and I answer them, I record all this stuff. And all the office hours, we feed the video back to this community-based support. Y'all follow me? After 2 weeks, it was so amazing on how much engagement there was. Like, people asking questions, other people start answering. Hey, I've done that already. Check this out. Or people putting comments. Check out what we did. And then another group said, that's a great idea. That's something we could use. The culmination of all this, we did a show and tell. Everybody presented through an online meeting what they did. We recorded it. We threw it back to the greater public of that company and had them vote like the best solution is and whoever will be SharePoint Idle. The winner of SharePoint Idle, everybody in the team got 1 free day off. That doesn't excite me, day off? You guys get a lot out of this in the States. Cool. But my point is, when we talk about scalable support, we're not just talking about from a technical perspective. We're talking about a community-based support with incentives and motivations of why people want to do this. You know, it takes 12 to 15 months to fully drive change. So don't think we're just going to throw social out there and send people to training, and after a month, life will be great. It's not going to be good. And because of this, if you implement it company-wide, other than having scalable support, you've got to make sure you have a sustainable adoption program in place. Sustainable adoption is not just training. A lot of us think adoption equals training. Oh, I'll just send you to end user training, power user, admin training, and then we'll be fine. No. The goal of sustainable adoption is threefold. Number one is you want to drive excitement. What are you smoking about? Excitement? That's not like an IT vocabulary. But to drive change, people have to be excited about certain things. I mean, when I showed the video earlier of that guy walking his dog and the power of social, I saw some little glimmer of excitement in your eyes. Apart from people getting excited, they have to understand the possibilities of facilitating positive change in their work. And then lastly, the goal of sustainable adoption is making sure not only we empower people, but we should be able to assist them to help themselves and help others. I'll spend a whole day around this on Wednesday. So if you're interested, who's attending that workshop on Wednesday? All right, very good. And if you're interested, if you have questions, ask me. So I'll spend a whole day giving you tactics on how you put together a sustainable adoption program. The fifth step to transform your organization. So once you implement it company-wide, again, you got to sustain this. You got to facilitate engagement through time. It's very important that as an organization, we gather the feedback on the value of our enterprise social investment and also understand if it works or it doesn't and how can we make it better. You know, the problem, again, and I'm guilty of this as well, traditionally, from an IT perspective, when we roll out technology, once it's out, we don't really look at it again until 3 years when we upgrade it. And then the way we handle anything else in between is we'll just get a support ticket and request and just do what we do. When we talk about gathering feedback, we want to measure success. And it's not an easy task. This is a tall order because measuring success, it's not just measuring how many clicks or analytics and likes people get. I mean, those are valuable, but that's not the only thing you want to measure. You know, when I talk to corporate communicators, they're very interested in these quantitative analytics. What you're seeing here is Yammer Analytics, and you know, SharePoint has its own analytics. You can get third-party tools. Well, this may look good, but does that really mean it's bringing value? Because for all we know, the reason why we had 10,000 likes this week and 20,000 messages, right, is because our favorite rugby team won. The Hawthorns. See, I know my rugby. Is it bringing business value? Well, if we were the Hawthorn organization, we'd have a lot of engagement. Yeah, it's bringing business value. But if it's your company, I mean, nothing wrong, people talk about this stuff, but you're saying, oh, there's a lot of engagement around what? So my point around measuring success, friends, is measuring success is twofold. First, qualitatively, and then quantitatively. So you go back to the business value that you've identified in the earlier steps. Okay, Gus, we said we want to improve collaboration. So how does the internet, using social technologies, do that? Well, it streamlined it now across regions. What was achieved? We're able to synchronize communications across global teams. How did you measure it? 15% improving for innovations that come through for new products or services. And then, okay, prove it. Let's go to our analytics to show that this 15% actually happened. You all follow me? All this has to be intentional. Which means when you invest in enterprise social, it's not just investing in licenses and servers and technology. You got to invest in the right group of people and a team of people to do it. I'm not saying you hire full-time people, but you got to marry folks in the business and IT to reap the strategic value of this. It's a long-term play. And through time, you want to see your business value, your engagement mature. So maybe early on, as we measure, you know, these are just some of the goals. As people mature, not only from how they use the technology, but due to the technology, a cadence in their how they work together is better, you can see the growth. And then that's where value skyrockets. 5 steps to transform your enterprise. You secure stakeholder buy-in, you map to business value. And there may be a lot of them. Later in the deep dive, I'll talk to you more about how you prioritize, how you assess these business value. Go in and start a pilot. Start right away and see what sticks and what works related to specific value. Implement company-wide, and then through time, make sure it sustains and facilitate engagement. What do you guys think? Useful? You ready to lead this revolution? She is. You guys ready? Yeah? So here's what I want you to do. On the count of 3, I want you to shout as loud as you can these words, all right? All right. 1, 2, 3. Shit happens! Thank you for being a great audience, and enjoy the rest of the conference.